Broadcasting on an old transistor radio from the abandoned Long John Silver's behind the abandoned Pizza Hut on Center Avenue in Bay City, Michigan. It's Everything, Anything, and Nothing Really with your hosts Eric Walensky and Matthew Maynard. Good evening, listenerland. My name is Eric.
My name is Matt.
And good evening to you, Matt.
Hello, Eric.
So, what's new?
I bought some bananas.
Oh, productive day.
Well, I didn't buy them today.
Oh.
Sometime in the past.
Oh, I see.
I don't know what day.
You kind of letting them marinate there? What color are they?
I think they're turning brown. Actually, by the time I get around to wanting to eat one, they'll probably be ruined, and I will have to throw them in the wastebasket.
So did you get to eat any of these bananas?
Not yet. No, I never get to eat bananas. That's usually what happens. I will usually buy bananas and set them on my cupboard or refrigerator, and by the time I want one, they're completely brown, and it's time to throw them away. So that's kind of the cycle I have. I buy bananas and throw them away.
Why don't you buy green bananas?
Well, I don't like to plan for the future, Eric.
But you do like to have bananas in the house just in case you get the timing right.
Just in case I get that 1/2 hour where they're going to be just right, you know?
And this has been Banana Talk with Matt and Eric.
This talk is bananas.
So, you ready for a good old show tonight?
Yes, and as part of our show tonight, we have a special treat. Tonight we are featuring Tuba Skinny. They are a great traditional jazz band from New Orleans. We're going to hear the song Thriller Rag, and it's going to be great. So stay tuned for that later in the show. Tuba Skinny, one of the great traditional jazz bands out there right now.
It's fun music. When I listen to it, I feel like I should be wearing like a jaunty hat. You
should be wearing a jaunty hat, Eric. I've always said that.
Just wearing a jaunty hat regardless of what music I'm listening to?
That's right. In fact, I say that to everybody, actually. I just go up to my boss, "Where's your jaunty hat?" It's like, "You're fired."
People are like, "A jaundice hat?" No, a jaunty one.
A jaunty hat that shows that you're really excited about this new Franklin Delano Roosevelt fellow.
All right, well, I'll get one.
Okay. So, on the way to the abandoned Long John Silver's tonight, I passed a grocery store, and out in front of the grocery store there was a sign that said, "Jacket and tie optional, mask required."
Okay. So it's a casual grocery store.
Well, I don't understand. What is this grocery store been having a problem with, people not coming there because they thought they had to dress in a tuxedo or something? Or it's like, so let's make it clear that they don't have to dress up, but they do have to wear a mask.
I guess that's good that they outlined that. Maybe they thought that's why they were losing business. Man, nobody's coming here. It's almost like there's a pandemic out there. Tell them they don't have to wear a suit and tie.
I know we've been losing business to that Top Hat Required store down the road, but tell them all they need here is a mask. It's kind of funny because not too long ago, if you would have worn a mask into a store, people would have called the police.
Yeah.
But now people will call the police if you don't wear a mask into a store.
Yeah, the tables have certainly turned,
Right.
Billy the Kid's like rolling over in his grave right now. Like, I had that idea a long time ago.
I'm walking into places with a big jaunty hat on and my mask on and saying, "I've got a silver bullet, Tonto."
Yes. I like that. Who was that masked man? I don't know. He bought some bananas and that was it.
Probably doesn't know how to eat them either.
He doesn't know how to use them.
He was wearing a jacket and tie and rode away on a horse, so I don't know what that was all about.
He went into that Top Hat store. Yeah, everybody seems to be getting into this, putting something about masks, something cutesy about masks on their signs. I went by a church the other day that
Hmm.
said, "Be safe, wear the mask. God will know your face." So God has really good facial recognition software, I'm guessing.
I recognize him. Recognize him.
Well, it makes me wonder what were the parishioners in this church thinking like in the wintertime when they're like all bundled up? Like, oh no, he won't know who I am.
Not gonna recognize me.
So the church just wanted to make it clear.
Well, I'm glad they did. Now I still won't feel safe enough to go into a public place where there are a lot of people, but thanks for the thought. I'll watch church on TV still.
Yeah, that same church had another sign on a couple of weeks earlier that said, "Jesus cleans your heart, you can wash your hands." I guess he also doesn't do windows.
Jesus does enough. Don't expect him to wash your hands. Jeez. He washes your feet too. Come on. Read the gospel, people.
Oh, I just like how whoever makes the signs for this church is just like, what's hot right now? What's popular? What's the big new thing out there? Oh, the pandemic? Oh, coronavirus? I got some zingers. I got some zingers.
Got some stuff about Jesus and washing hands and masks. It's gonna kill.
There was one on that church, though. It said, "When worry and cares drag you down, then comes God." And I get the point of that message. I just can't not read that sign in the tone of the theme to Maude.
Millennials, for those of you who have never heard of Maude, it was a TV show that ran on CBS from 1972 to 1978. Look up the theme song on YouTube.
Google it. And then at the part where they say, "And then comes Maude," say, "Then comes God," and you'll get this whole joke.
So I saw some other signs recently. I was driving past a gas station, and there was a sign out front that said, and I've been past this gas station many times. Never noticed it till the other day. A little yellow sign that said, "Waltz Crawlers." And for a split second, I thought, does he have a daycare in the back?
Oh, it wasn't clear.
No. No, some people call them toddlers. Now, I like to call them crawlers. These are my crawlers. Because, they don't really toddle. They're really on the floor crawling, so.
I like to be specific.
Or it could be, he could mean worms. He could mean that he's got night crawlers in there, and it could be a thing like, there could be a lot of worms in the back of the gas station, and it could be like, "Hey, can I buy some of those?" No, those are Walt's. Hands off. Walt's crawlers.
Maybe Walt's forgetful. And he's like, "Where did I put those worms?" And then he sees a sign, "Walt's crawler." "Oh, I left them at the gas station."
Or I'm sick of people taking my worms. I'm putting up a sign, "Walt's crawlers."
Then why do you leave them in the store?
Yeah, that just seems like an unlikely place to leave them. But it is central Michigan, and
Hey, make the store suit and tie required. Nobody's going to go in and get your crawlers, Walt.
right. A couple weeks ago, I'm driving out in a rural area, and I see a sign, a homemade cardboard sign, out by the road. And there's like a party going on, apparently, and the sign says, "You honk, we drink."
Oh, that's a fun party game.
So I honked. Actually, I kept going past there and honking.
I think I would have done that too.
I was very popular. They kept cheering every time they saw my car coming, and
I would have went around the block a couple times, but then I would have really got him though. As they saw my car coming, I wouldn't honk once. Then what are they going to do?
Right, they can't drink if you don't honk.
Yeah, I had a bumper sticker that said that, and man, I was getting pulled over all the time. No, nothing.
I thought you had more. I'm sorry.
No, that's just the joke. If you had a
Oh,
bumper sticker that said "You honk, we'll drink,"
okay. Great.
that's it.
Oh.
Look that one up, millennials.
And I've been seeing this other sign that is all over rural Michigan. I don't know if it's anywhere else, but it's a sign that says, "My governor is an idiot."
Does it say it like that, or that's just how you hear it?
I hear it that way a lot of times, but sometimes I hear it like, "My governor is an idiot." What about your governor? Your governor an idiot too? Just a sign of the times of, people being very upset with our governor for requiring masks just like a grocery store would.
That's funny that you say that about it being a sign of the times, because you wonder, like, obviously with today's social media, there's a lot more Facebook memes and things on the internet and all that kind of stuff. But back in the day, you had to do everything with signs, and they weren't quite as scathing back in the
Mm-hmm.
day. But what you're reminding me of is there's an old Cadillac in downtown Bay City. It's got to be from the 70s, but there's a
Mm-hmm.
bumper sticker on it. I see it downtown all the time that says "Impeach Nixon." It is so
Okay.
cool because it's a classic car. It is an
Uh-huh.
antique vehicle, and it's got a bumper sticker on it that says. So this thing came straight from the 70s. There's no restoration done here. That's an impeach Nixon car.
Well, that reminds me of the time when I lived in Portland. One time I saw a car, and I took a picture of it because I was parked right behind it. And it was a car that was obviously not around in 1984. It was a newer car, but it had a bumper sticker that said Mondale Ferraro 84. So that's like me buying a 2020 vehicle and being like, "Yep, I know where my Mondale Ferraro sticker is going to go."
Yeah, right. Reagan Bush. Put that on your 2019 Mazda. That's funny.
I can dream, can't I? And since we're talking about old things like Mondale and Ferraro and Richard Nixon's impeachment, I've got some old news for you.
Yes, I love the old news.
Yes, these are news stories that we have missed because we were not born yet. And our first one comes from November 27th, 1901, from the Yorkville, South Carolina Enquirer. I assume this was carried all over the country because this was big news in 1901. The headline says, "Right to Kiss Upheld. Chicago Justice frees a youth who caressed his sweetheart."
Wow. So the law was really strict back then. You went to the court to determine whether or not kissing was okay.
I like that this made national headlines.
Well, I think we're going to see why it made national headlines in just a minute here. This whole thing reads like a script from a soap opera.
Frank Hendricks was accused of having kissed Matilda Dombrowski in the parlor of her home, 143 West 19th Street, when he appeared before Justice Dooley in the Maxwell Street Police Court in Chicago recently. Justice Dooley was surprised at the testimony and asked the attorneys if the proceedings were in the nature of a breach of promise suit.
A breach of promise suit.
That was a real thing. If you said that you were going to marry a woman and then backed out, she could sue you for that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what a breach of promise suit was, as is my understanding. Of course, we'll probably get a letter from somebody saying, "No, that's not legally what it was," but that's my understanding.
Yeah, that's what we're going with.
Yeah, but yeah, you could do that back then.
Interesting.
Maybe you could now. I don't know. I've never heard of it happening like after 1901, but the lawyers informed His Honor that Hendricks was charged with disorderly conduct and hoped to prove by the evidence that the prisoner was guilty.
The prisoner? Now, see, this goes from like, hey, you sue somebody if you promise to marry him, but now he's a prisoner?
Come with me. You said you were going to marry this girl and you made a fool of her. You're going to the jail. So it goes on. What do you accuse this man of having done to you? Asked Justice Dooley of the young woman. She is handsome and smiled constantly throughout the proceedings. Blushing slightly, she replied, Why, he kissed me in the parlor of my home. Is that a euphemism?
I was just going to say. Will you kiss me in the parlor? Oh, only if you've had a bath.
Show me where in the parlor he kissed you. This man kissed you, and you had him arrested for disorderly conduct? Asked the court. Do I understand you correctly? Yes, Your Honor. He put his lips to mine and hugged me. Now here's where the judge seems to get a little bit perverted, because he seems like
That's
too breathlessly into this, you know?
Uh-huh.
Did you object to it? Asked the court. Oh, no, came the quick reply. He asked me if I would give him a kiss. I told him yes, and invited him to have two. Did he accept? Oh, yes. He kissed me several times and seemed to like it so much. And how about you? Did you like it too? Oh, yes. I liked it very well. But I have since lost my heart for him.
I'm picturing this exactly the way you're reading it too. Like the judge is like getting like leaning more and more in. Ooh, did you offer a kiss? Ooh, did he accept? And did he like it? And did you like it? But now I see him completely exploding on this next part. Where she says he liked it, she says she liked it, and then the judge shouts,
Well, for the land's sake, if you permitted him to kiss you and you like it so well, why did you have him arrested? Asked the puzzled magistrate. Because I want him to let me alone. Oh, you don't want to...
This is where he gets it now. Like now the suit is starting to make sense.
Oh, you don't want to be kissed anymore. You have discovered that you don't like it so much after all, suggested His Honor. Oh, I like it all right enough, but I have lost my heart for him. It then developed that the two had been engaged to be married. 2 weeks ago was the date set for the wedding, but Hendricks, she said, failed to appear, and the ceremony did not take place. That was pretty bad, Your Honor, said the complainant, but I forgave him. Later, however, I found that he had kisses for another girl. That's a nice way to say that he's a cheater.
Well, but this is 2 weeks later that she found this out, and the marriage has already not happened, and she's like, "You're going to court."
Right. I know. I mean, if somebody stood me up for a wedding, that would be bad enough.
Right.
I wouldn't give them a second chance. I'd be like, well, I still like their kisses, so, oh, there's somebody else that they're kissing? Nah, forget it. Lawsuit time.
So now this all makes sense, and it has now made sense to the court, because I love the judge's next line.
Mm-hmm. He says, Ah, I see it all now, said the court. You wanted a monopoly on the kissing business.
And now I'm picturing the judge with like a monocle and a long cigarette in a holder. Like, I see it now. You wanted a monopoly on the kissing business.
Well, I did have Park Place and Boardwalk, and then later I bought Mediterranean Avenue and the railroads. And I kissed all of them, but they weren't as fun as him. So it goes on. Well, I was entitled to it. We were engaged to be married, and he had no right to kiss any other girl but me. The young woman stated that she was employed in a Halsted Street store where she became acquainted with Hendricks, who worked in the same establishment. She said she lost her place through his efforts, and when she became engaged to another young man, Hendricks, she said, told her, wait a minute, she got engaged to somebody else?
Yeah, right away.
Why is she mad at him?
She's a hotsy-totsy, man.
Wow. So why is she suing? I don't understand her now. I'm as confused as a judge.
Well, here's why. Keep going.
So, when she became engaged to another young man, Hendricks, she said, told her new fiancé that he, Hendricks, was engaged to her. As a result, she said, she lost the man who promised to marry her, lost her position too. After she forgave Hendricks, she discovered that his kisses were in demand by others. She came to the conclusion that kissing was considered disorderly conduct, and a warrant was procured for the arrest of the young man.
See, that's why she's suing, because she had moved on, but then Hendrix shows up and goes, hey, I was engaged to her. So the new fiancé says, well, then I'm out of here, and you're fired. That's who she should be suing. How do you lose your fiancé and your job on the same day?
I guess if you're engaged to your boss, maybe?
Yeah, there should be she should be suing for lost wages.
Wow. Why didn't the judge ask about that? The judge is all like, did you like the kisses? Were they good?
Well, I think it's just because the judge is completely confused now.
Well, this is about the strangest case that has come to my attention for some time, commented the court. Here is a young couple said to be engaged. The suitor for the young lady's hand asks her for a kiss. She admits it is proper and gives him one. 2. Yes, several. And then she turns around and has him arrested for doing what she gave him permission to do? I'm afraid there is no law in our statutes prohibiting a man kissing a woman when she gives her consent and invites him to help himself. What, is she a buffet now or what?
I was just going to say, man, this guy is like so lucky. How did he give up on this woman? Like he walked in her parlor and she's like, help yourself. Wah, 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 wah. I'm taking my kissing monopoly elsewhere.
I am sure it does not constitute disorderly conduct, and I will have to let the prisoner go without his making any defense. But I don't want him to kiss me anymore, insisted the complainant. Oh, don't be afraid, replied the defendant. I wouldn't kiss you now for $1,000.
Ba-dum-bump.
And scene.
The funniest thing about this is literally printed in the newspaper. There was so little to talk about in 1901.
I can imagine like a farm couple looking at this and, hey, Maude, says here that a young fella tried to kiss his girl in a parlor. And she said no and took him to court.
Well, that's why I ain't never going to Chicago or big city business like that. That is just too much.
Boy, the things that happen in those big cities. I'll tell you, Satan's at work there with all that kissing and all those parlors, monopolies. There's another one I found from the Jackson Citizen Patriot of August 17th, 1892. I don't know what this is, Eric. This appeared on the front page of the paper. And I don't think it's really news,
It feels like an editorial somehow.
I guess. But the headline says something for, quote, shoppers to read. Okay? So here's how it goes. See the lady. Is she a pretty lady? She is a pretty lady. That is to say, if accused of being pretty, she would deny it. If not so accused, she would be as mad as a wet hen.
That's a great expression. And I think we need to bring that back. I don't think you hear madder than a wet hen often enough.
Is the lady rich? It looks like it. She does not see anybody else in the world. Oh, yes, she is rich. What is the lady doing? Let us see.
Yeah, the early days of newspaper, right? Where it's like, you know what? What are we gonna put on the front page today? And like this guy just raised his hand. He's like, I want to try something. One day, I think there's gonna be a thing called television, and I think there's gonna be networks with nothing but opinions like this. Really? Yes, sir. Well then, let's hear your opinion on the woman shopper. This was Bill O'Reilly's great-great-grandfather wrote this.
And I love the way it's written. It's like, see her do this? See her do this now. It's kind of like, it reminds me of when I was in kindergarten, we had these yellow books like, see the shell? I see the shell. It is the shell. I see Mitt. Mitt sees the shell. Just very simple kind of sentences like that, but very...
Well, maybe this guy wrote those too. Like this editorial appeared and everybody hated it, and then he's like, man, I shot way too high. I got to dumb this way down.
My style's a little too sophisticated for the 1892 reader. But just wait 130 years from now, people will get it. There'll be this newfangled thing where people talk into a microphone, whatever that is, and they'll be reading my story and laughing about it. Can't wait. See her go into the store. Did she step on the pretty boy who opened the door for her? Not quite, but the boy had to hustle to escape.
What does that mean? Did she step on the pretty boy? Pretty boys opened doors for women back in the late 1800s?
And they're small enough that they could be stepped on?
I guess. He had to hustle to escape.
See, what we call Smurfs nowadays, they called pretty boys back then.
They called them pretty boys. That's funny. What if somebody today is like, hey, pretty boy, hey, I ain't no tiny blue thing that opens doors. What?
La 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 la. Why does the bald-headed man behind the counter have such hard work to look pleasant?
Why's he gotta be bald?
Some people find it hard to look pleasant anyway.
That's true.
That's true. I don't know why I read it in the voice of that article, but... Does he enjoy pulling down all the goods in the store as the rich, pretty lady requests? He should.
He should be lucky to have a job. That bald-headed man, nobody'd look at him. He's not pretty enough to open doors.
He's not kissing girls in parlors.
Help yourself.
She will probably buy large amounts of the goods. But no. See, she is leaving the store without buying anything. Does the bald-headed man seem tired?
Now, this seems like some kind of weird SAT question. Like it's a psychological test, like to, are you qualified enough to be a Navy SEAL? Here, take the test. Does the bald-headed man seem tired? Oh, my gosh. Like some kind of Rorschach test in the 1890s. Does the bald-headed man seem tired?
He seems tired.
Oh, confirmed.
It answered it right away. He has half a day's work before him to put the goods back where he found them. Well, why didn't he do it while he was... Anyway, I don't understand how stores worked in 1892.
I was going to say, what is the store just covered in things now that are all out of place?
Pull that hat box down, leave it on the floor, and leave everything wide open, and then go get another hat box.
It pleases me.
See the lady. Is she having lots of fun? It is to be hoped so. Nobody else is. Does she work other stores in the same way? She works a large number of other stores in just the same way. Does she buy anything? Not a solitary thing. What is she doing? She is shopping. Is the lady shopping? She is shopping. Do many ladies shop? They all shop. Is there no cure for the habit? No.
So I still don't understand why this needed to be written in a newspaper. But I do understand why it was written, because this is the bald-headed man complaining about all these ladies. Make him get up all these hat boxes, and they call it shopping, even though they don't buy anything.
They had to figure out a better way to have stores so the bald-headed man didn't have to keep bringing goods off the shelf or something.
Yeah. See, I guess today, it would be like, is the lady pretty? Yes. Is she sitting in front of a computer scrolling through Amazon? Yes. Is she shopping? She's shopping. She has many boxes delivered to her porch. She returns the boxes.
Is the bald-headed postmaster upset? Yes, he is upset.
People at Amazon have to restock everything she returns. This is called shopping.
Oh.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, and the fact that this was a front page in 1892 when they were in the midst of another Grover Cleveland presidential year.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Pretty lady goes shopping but doesn't buy anything.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, Grover Cleveland's running for president again.
Extra, extra. Fiancé kisses woman. Woman sues pants off him. Invites him to help himself. Judge gets way too into it. Asks way too many inappropriate questions.
Do you think I could get kissed like that? How do you think I could do it? Could I help a pretty lady in a store? Do you think she'd step on me? Because I'm into that too.
Oh, boom.
Well, that's a good place to wrap up. Before we bring in Tuba Skinny, I just want to remind everybody we are on Facebook. Look for us, Everything, Anything, and Nothing Really. We're on YouTube. We're on Podbean. We're on iTunes. So be sure to listen to us. Be sure to tell your friends about us. Tell your enemies, too.
But don't tell our enemies.
Right, especially waltz crawlers.
Because those are waltz crawlers.
So here is Tuba Skinny with Thriller Rag. You've got Greg Sherman on guitar, Shay Cohn on cornet, Craig Flory on alto saxophone, Ewan Bleach on alto saxophone, Barnabas Jones on trombone, Robin Rapuzzi on percussion, Todd Burdick on sousaphone, and Max Bien Khan on resonator guitar. You can find their stuff on bandcamp.com. So for everything, anything, and nothing really, this is Matt.
And this is Eric.
And here is Thriller Rag by Tuba Skinny. So tell me, did you kiss your wife?
Yes.
Did she like it?
Yes.
Did you object to it?
No.
How many times did you kiss?
I think this is getting inappropriate.
Ah. All right.